much to the rest of canon, it became more murky, as some of the threads it put in play didn't work so well with the DC universe at that point, or in general for some characters. I see you, Jason and Barbara. You cannot be, for they have decided that Barbara and Dick are endgame. But the question is, was the story meant to be canon? Well, for that, we have a couple of answers. Jeff Johns stated in 2020 during DC's virtual fandom event, because COVID, "I've never really told a Batman story. I've done Batman Earth 1, but that's a different, younger, low-tech version. This was the first time I had a chance to write a real Batman story in continuity with the Joker. It's not a parallel Earth story. These three Jokers are not from different Earths. We tried to make it as grounded and personal as possible." This was in response to whether or not this was an out-of-continuity story or was pulling Jokers from different universes. These questions were being asked not just because of the premise, but also because it was being published through DC Black Label, which was/is an imprint printing mature prestige format style books, founded in 2018. The thing was/is, most of them are outside of continuity. If not necessarily explicitly, it oftentimes appears so based on the contents. The idea behind it was that things could be loosely attached, and then if they did well, they could be pulled into the main universe, which is how artist Jason Fabok described the series in a post on Twitter/X/Hell in 2019. "It's in continuity like Killing Joke is. You can take it or leave it. We are going to introduce some pretty gutsy stuff in Jokers that's never been done before, so the fans can react to it and they can decide if they want it part of main continuity or not, like Killing Joke." So that was where the Three Jokers itself stood in 2020, but it still left some unanswered questions. And it was a bit loose on some details about timelines and the like, which is part of why that story fares better kept outside of continuity. And yet this Three Jokers concept would find itself resolved inside of the mainline continuity in 2024. But how did that happen? To understand this, one must track the Three Jokers concept a tad further. According to industry scuttlebutt, so take some grains of salt with this, there was supposed to be a sequel to Three Jokers, and this is something that Johns and Anderson and Fabok have discussed a little bit on social media. It was supposedly supposed to be called Batman Universe, but it never came to fruition. Some say it's because the creators never heard back about their pitch. Others that things just moved on in different directions. It already took so long to get Three Jokers out there in the first place, and the continuity was changing, moving, things were just different from when it was first set to be released. Johns eventually ended up at DC going back to Golden Age and JSA things, and him and Fabok went on to co-found along with several others, and hence become exclusive with their new imprint, Ghost Machine, which will publish through Image Comics. This company was founded in October 2023, though of course there's probably some clauses where they can finish off stuff that they're working on. We'll see how long the exclusivity remains. Time of recording for everything. Speaking of time of recording, it appears that whatever direction the plot was initially going to go in, those avenues may be closed. But the question still popped up. Even as of 2023, people were still asking, what is going on with the Three Jokers? And there's a reason for that. It came back up in mainline continuity. Now, sometimes certain events in canon end up memory hold, just pushed to the side or not spoken of. And while some fans will always clamor for answers, that isn't always the worst approach, especially